The idea that success depends on a large circle of friends and the approval of others is something that society conveys rather frequently. What happens, however, if this belief turns out to be incorrect? What if one experiences genuine self-assurance and profound sense of safety while they are alone, or when they have just a limited number of significant contacts with others? What if the way to achieve inner peace is not via the attainment of approval from others, but rather through the acceptance of our solitude and the discovery of the strength that resides inside us? We live in a world that is always trying to get us to show that we are worthy of social approval. At a young age, we are taught that the greater the number of friends we have, the more content we should feel with our lives. On the other hand, this mindset is frequently more concerned with appearances than it is with substance. People in a packed room that is full of laughing and cheerful banter may give the impression that they are connected to one another, but in truth, they may be battling with an identity crisis. It is not uncommon for this sense of connection to be fragile and transient, which causes us to wonder whether or not it actually offers the sense of security and fulfillment that we are looking for. The never-ending loop of trying to win the approval of other people can be very draining. One moment you are feeling on top of the world with a surge of praises or likes, and then all of a sudden you see a single negative comment or a perceived slight that brings you down to earth. Never-ending treadmill. This incessant demand for affirmation consumes energy without providing genuine satisfaction. It is like a treadmill that never stops running. Nevertheless, how frequently do we take the time to question ourselves? Do these relationships really know who we are? In the most difficult times that we face, would they be there to support us? Within the context of the modern world, which is dominated by social media, the need to be approved of has only increased, despite the fact that we devote many hours to the process of cultivating our online personalities and pursuing likes and followers. We discover that the affirmation we obtain is both temporary and meaningless. In accordance with Eckhart Tolle's teachings, this external validation keeps us ensnared in the mind, where we are constantly looking for anything that is external to ourselves in order to satisfy a profound inner void. However, the only way to discover genuine inner serenity and self-assurance is to stop looking for validation from the outside world and instead begin to cultivate the power of the present moment. Now, what are some ways that we might break away from this cycle? You may be taken aback by the response. It is not about becoming more outgoing or improving one's ability to interact with other people. It's about opening up to something that a lot of us are afraid of: being alone. Loneliness is not the same thing as solitude, especially when it is being intentionally welcomed. Being lonely is a condition of detachment in which we experience feelings of being rejected and isolated. Having solitude, on the other hand, is a decision. It is a potent area in which we can establish a profound connection with ourselves. When we are alone, we are not distracted by the distraction of other people's expectations, which enables us to genuinely hear the voice that comes from within us. When we are able to remove ourselves from the thoughts and judgments of the world, we are able to connect with our authentic selves during these moments of silence. Solitary confinement has been a source of incredible strength for many of the world's most influential thinkers and artists throughout the course of history. Confrontation with their most profound thoughts, the discovery of fresh insights, and the release of their creative potential all occur during these moments. When you make the conscious decision to spend time alone, you make room for your own consciousness to grow and develop. You start to perceive the world and yourself in a clearer light, free from the distortion that is caused by influences from the outside. Spending time by yourself helps you develop a greater sense of self-assurance. This is not a superficial confidence that is based on what other people think of you. Rather, it is a conviction that is more profound and unshakable. And it is more profound and unshakable, and it is founded on self-awareness. Because you are aware that you possess all of the strength that you require within you, you start to trust yourself. There is no one else who can provide this sense of inner contentment. As Eckhart Tolle frequently emphasizes, it is unshakable because it is rooted in the present moment and the awareness of your actual nature. This is the reason why it is unshakable. Having said that, this does not imply that we should completely cut ourselves off from other people. Making connections with other people is essential to our health. However, the question is how to change the attention away from quantity and toward quality, When it comes to true connection, the number of friends or followers we have is not the determining factor. Rather, the depth of those interactions is what matters. Having a small group of genuine relationships can be far more satisfying than having a broad network of interactions that are only superficial. Imagine for a second that there are two people. There is one who is surrounded by hundreds of acquaintances and is continually distracted by the cacophony of superficial encounters. And there is another who has only a few close friends. Relationships that are founded on trust, mutual respect, and shared ideals. In terms of their relationships, who is genuinely more wealthy? The answer is unmistakable. The persons who are the most secure typically have the smallest social circles, but the relationships they have are the ones that are the most valuable. You can lay the groundwork for your own personal development by surrounding yourself with a small group of people who actually can relate to you and provide you with support. Your inner self is reflected in these interactions, and they also assist you in maturing into the person you were always meant to be. They make it possible for you to confront your anxieties and vulnerabilities without fear of being judged, so providing a secure environment for self-discovery. It is at this point that the magic takes place. When you discover your own sense of security, you no longer require the approval of other people. Your self-assurance is not dependent on the material world around you, but rather on the relationship you have with your own inner being. You take on the characteristics of a tree that is deeply entrenched in the ground, unmoved by the winds of the opinions of others. Eckhart Tolle recommends that in order to properly grow this inner strength, it is necessary to engage in the practice of self-awareness and to be mindful of the already occurring moment. Instead of letting the clamor of cultural expectations distract you, give yourself some time to figure out who you truly are. You will be able to establish boundaries and give prioritization to the relationships and activities that are actually in alignment with your path when you have a clear understanding of your values and objectives. Building your inner resilience requires remaining steadfast in your truth, regardless of the forces that come from the outside. There will be people who will try to convince you that success is determined by how popular you are and how many people you have around you. On the other hand, the most secure people are aware that the key to genuine success is developing a sense of harmony with oneself. Not only do you develop a sense of inner stability when you embrace solitude, but you also become a magnet for meaningful interactions when you do so at the same time. People that value your authenticity will naturally gravitate toward you as you become more at ease with who you are going to be. In turn, you have the ability to motivate them to embrace their own path to achieving inner peace and increased self-awareness. In the end, the way to determine whether or not a person is truly safe is not the number of people in their social circle, but rather the degree to which they are able to remain steadfast in their own truth. This quiet strength, which is built in awareness of the present moment, creates the foundation for a life that is both rewarding and serene at the same time. This is important to keep in mind because, as Eckhart Tolle teaches, true power can be discovered in the here and now, in accepting oneself just as you are, without the need for validation from outside sources. Do you want to continue on your road of self-discovery? Make sure to subscribe to this channel so that you can ensure that you are living more in the present moment. Your response should include the word now. In the comments section, if you found this message to be comprehensible and if you intend to continue developing in the years to come. Additionally, you might want to think about giving this video a like or sharing it with someone who could use a gentle reminder to slow down in life and be more alert.